So with the Thunk middleware, we can dispatch functions, and this allows us to execute code that causes side effects, like calling APIs. Remember that we are not supposed to call APIs in our reducers because our reducers should be pure. They should get the current state and return the new state. That's it, nothing more. No side effects, no API calls, no DOM manipulation, no state mutation. These properties make our reducers really easy to test, okay? So where exactly should we put the code with side effects? In our action creators. Traditionally, an action creator returns an object, but with the Thunk middleware, we can return a function from our action creator. And this function is where we encapsulate code with side effects. Now, earlier I told you that Redux Thunk automatically passes two functions here, dispatch and getState. With these functions, we can dispatch new actions and look at the current state of the store. Now, if we don't need to look at the store, we can remove the second parameter and simplify this function. Also, we can rewrite this function using the arrow function syntax. This is cleaner and more concise. We can rewrite this function, the action creator, using the arrow function syntax as well. So we define a constant called action creator and set it to this arrow function. We don't have any parameters, and here's the body of this function. Now, because in the body of this function, we have a single statement, that is our return statement, we can get rid of the return keyword as well as these braces and put everything on one line, like this. So our action creator is a function with no parameters. When we call this function, we get this function, a function with this parameter and this body. So this is where we're going to call our APIs. Let's look at a real example. Let's say we want to get the list of bugs from the server and put it in our store. There are three things we need to do in this function. First, we call our API. Here we can use any libraries like SuperAgent, Axis, or just a fetch API in the browser. Redux doesn't care. Now, these asynchronous operations return a promise. If the promise is resolved, we're going to dispatch a success action. We're going to put the list of bugs that we get from the server in the payload of this action. So when we dispatch this action, a reducer like the bugs reducer is going to catch it and return the updated state. Pretty straightforward. Now, if the promise is rejected, then we need to dispatch an error action. This is the basic pattern for making API calls. Now, there are various naming conventions for naming these actions. Here's one convention that a lot of people use: get bugs request, get bugs success, and get bugs fail. Now, I personally prefer to name my actions in the past tense. So here we have another convention: bugs requested, bugs received, and bugs request failed. If you don't like this convention, don't use it. Feel free to use any conventions that you prefer. Now, back to this pattern. There's a problem with this pattern. The problem is that it becomes very repetitive as we implement more features in our application. Every time we need to talk to the server, we need to follow these three steps. We have to make an API call. Then we have to handle the resolved and rejected cases, either by chaining then and catch methods or using a try-catch block. Either way, we have to repeat this structure. This is where we can use middleware. We can implement this structure within a middleware function. And that's what I'm going to show you next.